Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome to today's reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita. We are reading from Adi Lila, chapter 5. We'll be reading from verse 23 onwards. Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yad kripatamam vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Dasa. Verse 23, Lord Krishna manifests his own form in Mathura and Dwarka. He enjoys pastimes in various ways by expanding into the quadruple forms. Verse 24, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna and Aniruddha are the primary quadruple forms from which all other quadruple forms are manifested. They are all purely transcendental. Verse 25, only in these three places, Dwarka, Mathura and Gokul, does the all-sporting Lord Krishna perform his endless pastimes with his personal associates. Verse 26, in the Vaikuntha planets of the spiritual sky, the Lord manifests his identity as Narayan and performs pastimes in various ways. Verse 27 and 28. Krishna's own form has only two hands, but in the form of Lord Narayan, he has four hands. Lord Narayan holds a conch shell, disc, club, and a lotus flower, and he is full of great opulence. The Shri, Bhu, and Nila energies serve at his lotus feet. Purport: in the Ramanuj and Madhva sects of Vaishnavism, there are extensive descriptions of the Shri, Bhu, and Nila energies. In Bengal, the Nila energy is sometimes called the lila energy. These three energies are employed in the service of four-handed Narayan in Vaikuntha. Relating how three of the Alvars, namely Bhuta Yogi, Sara Yogi, and Bhranta Yogi, saw Narayan in person when they took shelter at the house of Brahman in the village of Gehali. The Prapanna Amrita of the Sri Sampradaya describes Narayan as follows. Taraksya dhirudham tadid ambudabham lakshmidharam vakshasi pankajaksham hastadvaye shobhita shankh chakram vishnum dadrashur bhagwantam adyam ajanu bahum kamaniya gatram parshvadve shobhita bhumi neelam pitambaram bhushan bhushitangam chaturbhujam chandana rushitangam. They saw the lotus-eyed Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, mounted on Garud and holding Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, to his chest. He resembled a bluish rain cloud with flashing lightning, and in two of his four hands he held a conch shell and disc. His arms stretched down to his knees, and all his beautiful limbs were smeared with sandalwood and decorated with glittering ornaments. He wore yellow clothes, and by either side stood his energies Bhumi and Nila. There is the following reference to the Shri, Bhu, and Nila energies in the Sitopanishad: Mahalakshmi Deveshasya Bhinna Bhinna Rupa Chetana Chetanatmika Sa Devi Trividha Bhavati Shakti Atmana Ichha Shakti Kriya Shakti Sakshat Shaktir Iti. Ichha Shakti Trividha Bhavati Shri Bhumini Latmika. Mahalakshmi, the supreme energy of the Lord, is experienced in different ways. She is divided into material and spiritual potencies, and in both features she acts as the willing energy, creative energy, and the internal energy. The willing energy is again divided into three, namely Shri, Bhu, and Nila. Quoting from the revealed scriptures in his commentary on the Bhagavad Gita 4.6, Madhvacharya has stated that Mother Material Nature, which is conceived of as the illusory energy Durga, has three divisions, namely Shri, Bhu, and Nila. She is the illusory energy for those who are weak in spiritual strength, because such energies are created energies of Lord Vishnu. Although each energy has no direct relationship with the unlimited, they are subordinate to the Lord because of the Lord is the master of all energies. In his Bhagavad Sandarbha, text 23, Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhu says, the Padma Puran refers to the eternally auspicious abode of Godhead, which is full in all opulences, including the energies Shri, Bhu and Nila. The Mahasamhita, which discusses the transcendental name and form of Godhead, also mentions Durga as the potency of the Supersoul in the relationship with the living entities. The internal potency acts in relation with his personal affairs, and the material potency manifests the three modes. Quoting elsewhere from the revealed scriptures, he states that Shri is the energy of Godhead that maintains the cosmic manifestation. Bhu is the energy that creates the cosmic manifestation, and Nila Durga is the energy that destroys the creation. I'll repeat. Shri is the energy of Godhead that maintains the cosmic manifestation. Bhu is the energy that creates the cosmic manifestation, and Nila Durga is the energy that destroys the creation. All these energies act in relation with the living beings, and thus they are together called Jiva Maya. Verse 29, although his pastimes are his only characteristic functions, by his causeless mercy he performs one activity for the fallen souls. Verse 30, he delivers the fallen living entities by offering them the four kinds of liberation: Shalokya, Samipya, Sarshti and Sarupya. Purport, there are two kinds of liberated souls: those who are liberated by the favor of the Lord and those who are liberated by their own effort. One who gets liberation by his own effort is called an impersonalist and emerges into the glaring effulgence of the Lord, the Brahmajyoti. But devotees of the Lord who qualify themselves for liberation by devotional service are offered four kinds of liberation, namely Shalokya, that status is equal to that of the Lord; Samipya, constant association with the Lord; Sarshti, opulence equal to that of the Lord; and Sarupya, features like those of the Lord. Verse 31, those who attain Brahma Sayujya liberation cannot gain entrance into the Vaikuntha. Their residence is outside the Vaikuntha planets. Verse 32, outside the Vaikuntha planets is the atmosphere of the glowing effulgence, which consists of the supremely bright rays of the body of Lord Krishna. Verse 33, that region is called the Siddhalok, and it is beyond the material nature. Its essence is spiritual, but it does not have spiritual varieties. Verse 34, it is like the homogeneous effulgence around the sun, but inside the sun are the chariots, horses, and other opulences of the sun god. Purport, outside the Vaikuntha, the abode of Krishna, which is called Paravyoma, is the glaring effulgence of Krishna's bodily rays. This is called Brahmajyoti. The transcendental region of that effulgence is called Siddhalok or Brahmalok. When impersonalists achieve liberation, they merge into that Brahmalok effulgence. This transcendental region is undoubtedly spiritual, but it contains no manifestations of spiritual activities or variegatedness. It is compared to the glow of the sun. Within the sun's glow is the sphere of the sun, where one can experience all sorts of varieties. Verse 35, as through devotion to the Lord one can attain his abode, many have attained that goal by abandoning their sinful activities and absorbing their minds in the Lord through lust, envy, fear, or affection. Purport, as the powerful sun by its glowing rays can purify all kinds of impurities, so the all-spiritual personality of Godhead can purify all material qualities in a person he attracts. Even if one is attracted by Godhead in the mode of material lust, such attraction is converted into spiritual love of Godhead by His grace. Similarly, if one is related to the Lord in fear and animosity, he also becomes purified by the spiritual attraction of the Lord. Although God is great and the living entity small, there are spiritual individuals, and therefore as soon as there is reciprocal exchange by the living entity's free will, at once the great spiritual being attracts a small living entity, thus freeing him from all material bondage. This verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam 7.1.30. Kamad dveshad bhayat snehad yatha bhaktieshware manah aveshya tad agham hitva bhavastad gatim gatah. Verse 36, where it has been stated that Lord's enemies and devotees attain the same destination, this refers to the ultimate oneness of Brahman and Lord Krishna. This may be understood by the example of sun and the sunshine, in which Brahman is like the sunshine and Krishna himself is like the sun. Purport: this verse is from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.278 of Srila Rupa Goswami, who further discusses this same topic in his Laghu Bhagavatamrita Purva 5.41. There he refers to the Vishnu Puran 4.15.1, where Maitreya Muni asked Parashar in regard to Jai and Vijay how it was that Hiranyakashipu next became Ravan and enjoyed some more material happiness than the demigods, but did not attain salvation. Although he became Shishupal, quarreled with Krishna and was killed, he attained salvation and merged into the body of Lord Krishna. Parashar replied that Hiranyakashipu failed to recognize Lord Nrsimhadev as Lord Vishnu. He thought that Nrsimhadev was some living entity who had acquired such opulence by various pious activities. Being overcome by the mode of passion, he considered Lord Nrsimhadev an ordinary living entity, not understanding his form. Nevertheless, because Hiranyakashipu was killed by the hands of Lord Nrsimhadev in his next life, he became Ravan and had proprietorship of unlimited opulence. As Ravan was killed by Rama, he did not attain Sayujya or oneness with the body of the Lord. In his Ravan body, he was too much attracted to Ram's wife Janaki, and because of that attraction, he was able to see Lord Ram, but instead of accepting Lord Ram as an incarnation of Vishnu, Ravan thought him an ordinary living being. When killed by the hands of Ram, therefore, he got the privilege of taking birth as Shishupal, who had such immense opulence that he could think himself as a competitor to Krishna. Although Shishupal was always envious of Krishna, he frequently uttered the name of Krishna and always thought of the beautiful features of Krishna. Thus, by constantly thinking and chanting of Krishna, even unfavorably, he was cleansed of the contamination of his sinful activities. When Shishupal was killed by the Sudarshan Chakra of Krishna as an enemy, his constant remembrance of Krishna dissolved the reactions of his vices, and he attained salvation by becoming one with the body of the Lord. From this incident, one can understand that even a person who thinks of Krishna as an enemy and is killed by him may be liberated by becoming one with the body of Krishna. What then must be the destination of devotees who always think of favorably of Krishna as a master or friend? These devotees must attain situation better than Brahmalok, the impersonal bodily effulgence of Krishna. Devotees cannot be situated in the impersonal Brahman effulgence into which impersonalists desire to merge. The devotees are placed in Vaikuntha Lok or Krishna Lok. This discussion between Maitreya Muni and Parashar Muni centered on whether devotees come down into the material world in every millennium like Jai and Vijay, who were cursed by the Kumars to that effect. In the course of these instructions to Maitreya about Hiranyakashipu, Ravan and Shishupal, Parashar did not say that these demons were formerly Jai and Vijay. He simply described the transmigration through 3 lives. It is not necessary for the Vaikuntha associates of the Supreme Personality of Godhead to come to take the roles of his enemies in all the millenniums in which he appears. The fall down of Jai and Vijay occurred in a particular millennium Jaya and Vijay do not come in every millennium to act as demons. To think that some associates of the Lord fall down from Vaikuntha in every millennium to become demons is totally incorrect. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has all the tendencies that may be found in the living entity, for he is the chief living entity. Therefore, it is natural that sometimes Lord Vishnu wants to fight, just as he has a tendency to create, to enjoy, to be a friend, to accept a mother and father, and so on. He also has a tendency to fight. Sometimes important landlords and kings keep wrestlers with whom they practice mock fighting, and Vishnu makes similar arrangements. The demons who fight with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the material world are sometimes his associates. When there is a scarcity of demons and the Lord wants to fight, he instigates some of his associates of Vaikuntha to come and play as demons. When it is said that Shishupal merged into the body of Krishna, it should be noted that in this case he was not Jaya or Vijay, he was actually a demon. In his Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Srila Sanatan Goswami has explained that the attainment of salvation by merging into the Brahman effulgence of the Lord cannot be accepted as the highest success of life, because demons like Kamsa, who were famous for killing brahmanas and cows, attained that salvation. For devotees, such salvation is abominable. Devotees are actually in a transcendental position, whereas non-devotees are candidates for hellish conditions of life. There is always a difference between the life of a devotee and the life of a demon, and their realizations are as different as heaven and hell. Demons are always accustomed to being malicious towards devotees and to killing brahmanas and cows. For demons, merging into the Brahman effulgence may be very glorious, but for devotees it is hellish. A devotee's aim in life is to attain perfection in loving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those who aspire to merge into the Brahman effulgence are as abominable as demons. Devotees who aspire to associate with the Supreme Lord to render him transcendental loving service are far superior. So we'll continue our reading from here onwards next time. Thank you for joining. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.